Welcome to Entreprogrammers Podcast, the podcast for developreneurs, the podcast where you get to be a fly on the wall listening to real conversations of three developers trying to tackle the challenges they face as entrepreneurs.
Yeah, you can see that.
It appears that we're live. John looks like he's about to get swept away by a tornado with that sky.
Yeah.
Follow the yellow brick road.
It could be bad on this lap. You can see the background there. There you go.
Yep. I see the funnel cloud forming right now. Where are you, John? Where the heck are you?
Huh? I'm Tuscany region. I'm like a little bit south of Florence, and kind of in that area, Siena, Florence area. I just went to Siena today. So,
what's the name of the town you're in?
It's called gosh, what is the name of this? I have to look on my phone to see where I'm at. It's like it's a very small. It's called Baroque or Barbarino. It's this old Roman walled city. You actually have to park outside of the city, and it's just it's real small kind of fortress, and it's all just like completely surrounded by these walls. So it's right next to Tavernelli. So Tavernelli is like the bigger town to go into.
Gotcha.
They do not believe in air conditioning in any of the gyms. So, but the good news is it's only like 90 degrees and like 50% humidity. So
nice.
Hey, if the air hits you on the back of the neck, it'll kill you. It'll make you deathly ill. So they can't have that running gym because you're sweaty, and that makes it twice as bad. So, right, that colpodaria. Which is the hit of the air, man. It'll kill you.
Yeah, there's superstition around that, right? Around the particular breeze or whatever. Yeah,
it was funny too because we'd try and explain to Italians, because we'd throw the windows open and they're like, "You are gonna get deathly ill," and I'm just like, "No, I'm gonna die in here if I don't open the window." And they would, yeah. Anyway. So you've never gotten sick? No. Maybe a American. Okay.
Genetically, we're genetically predisposed to handle giraffes.
Yeah, that's right. Or culturally predisposed. I don't know. Anyway, it was really, really funny. And it was usually the older folks that were more that than the younger folks. But some of the younger folks, total buy-in on that too. Anyway.
Yeah, I just came here from. I was in Cinque Terre. It was really cool.
I've never been. I've always wanted to go.
That was pretty amazing. I would have liked to stay longer. I was only there for like 3 days, but it's it's just like 5 of these towns that are just connected by these footpaths, basically like hiking trails, and they're all like ports, like little. Hard to describe. If you see kind of those pictures of like the Greek islands and all the houses on the hills and stuff, it's like that. And that was cool. And then you can swim in the the Baltic there, and so there was like all these lagoons and stuff. And then we hiked like 4 hours to go between the cities. We visited all 5 of them, but like to go to basically like 4-hour hikes up, all way steep hikes all the way up the mountain. So, but the whole time you're hiking, you're overlooking like the bay, the ocean there. So it was definitely a cool place. So.
Yeah, that's one of those places I'd love to go to.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm kind of torn too because I keep telling my wife I want to take her back to Italy, and part of me wants to show her where I was. And part of me wants to just go see like Milano or something that I haven't been to. and part of me just wants to
Right,
go
yep.
to like Cinque Terre or something where, you know, you're kind of away from all of the crazy hubbub of the bigger cities, and you know, just be like, we'll come back and we'll see the other stuff later. Like, just have a low key, okay, we're gonna walk from this town to this town today, you know, kind of thing on Cinque Terre. I think that would be awesome.
Yeah, that's always the tough thing, like especially when we're thinking about like Italy, because Italy has so many places that you
So
like
much to
must see places, right? I mean, like you're going to go to Italy and not go to Rome, right? You know, Rome's not, in my opinion, it's not the most interesting place. It's kind of a hot, kind of dirt city, but I mean, you got to go to Rome, right? You got to see the Colosseum and stuff like that, and you know, you've got
There's a
Venice.
ton of history there, tons,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and
Yeah.
and tons of art there too.
But it's like the some of those bigger cities are not like the best. Like Cinque Terre is a better place to go, right? So it's like you either choose like to go to places that are more historic and more like sightseeing, or more like relaxing vacation type of stuff. So if you consider hiking relaxing, but I like the outdoor stuff actually. Most of the traveling stuff that we've done, I've really liked the hiking and the outdoor kind of stuff the best. So rather than the city.
Yeah, and out near you, I seem to remember there being a pretty awesome torture museum in San Gimignano.
I did go to it. There's one. I thought it was. I saw signs in Siena for it. But,
Oh, it could have been in Siena. I don't remember.
okay. Instrumenti Tortua.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I lived in Arezzo, which is about hour-ish from you.
Oh really? Oh okay.
Yeah, it's out toward the east from Firenze.
It's been nice to be in some of the smaller places here because there's more people that don't speak English, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I get to practice my Italian. Whereas in like some places like in Rome and stuff, there'll be like engage me in Italian, right? They want me to actually just speak English. They're like, yeah, get on with it, man. Come on.
The other thing
like, oh, that's
is
cute.
that
You can Italian. Okay, that's cute. Now let's go.
if you're looking for a cultural experience, getting out away from the big tourist areas is good for you too. Because they kind of cater to Americans there, and they don't really force you to experience what it's like in Italy. So you can stay in hotels and go to the museums, and you don't really get to see what it's like for people that actually live there.
True. All right, so what's been going on?
Well, I traveled this week too. I went to Las Vegas.
Oh yeah.
How'd that go? You're alive, so
I am alive.
you and your father-in-law didn't get into too much trouble.
No, he went and ripped parts off of cars, and I went and talked to people about tech. So,
Nice.
Yeah, I've got a good stack of business cards of people to reach out to, and some fairly large companies were there. And when I started talking to them about what I do and sponsorship, a lot of the reactions were very positive. So, some of them were more along the lines of, "Hey, let's get you on the show as a subject matter expert, talk about what you do." But then a lot of them also were really interested in sponsorship, either from the standpoint of, we have this DevOps tool that makes it so developers don't have to worry about operations, or sponsorship because, well, hey, our tools don't just work with VMware, they also work with AWS and stuff like that. So, and that was pretty nice. So, and then there were some companies there like IBM and Lenovo and stuff like that. And I talked to them, and they're like, "This is our marketing person." And marketing person's like, "I would love to talk to you about how we can give you money." So
there you go.
Anyway, it turned out to be a positive thing there. And I think we're going to get some really cool guests out of it as well. So super positive that way.
Landing Lenovo or something like that would probably be pretty huge.
Yeah, I mean, talking Lenovo specifically, I mean, they have the guy I talked to, he's like, look, the person who's going to make this decision is my boss's boss. And she wants to see numbers. And I'm like, well, I have some numbers. I don't know if they're all the numbers she's going to want to see, but I said I can probably give her enough numbers to at least convince her to try it. And he's like, well, as long as I keep asking you for information or they decide to send you a check, it's a good sign.
Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, and then they get credit for doing the referrals and things like that. So, yeah, it was a really good experience. Talked to a lot of people about a lot of interesting stuff. Kind of makes me wish I had a DevOps podcast because I could probably line up sponsorships to that really easy at VMworld.
Well, you could definitely get one together. It's not a bad idea.
I know
Yeah.
a guy. I know this guy who's really good at starting podcasts.
Yeah, I could do. I'm going to do a Kickstarter for the React and Elixir, and I keep talking about doing that, but I'm actually going to. I sat down. It was funny because I was getting overwhelmed by all of this stuff I felt like I needed to do. It was like, oh my gosh. And so, and I had written it on the whiteboard before, but
Yeah.
it was just broad strokes. And so it's like, oh, I've got all these big things to do. So I actually got into detail in a notebook that I have here. And that has really helped me get kind of the visions and ideas together. So now at this point, I'm actually just going to put it into Asana, and delegate parts of it and handle parts of it. And yeah, so we'll get all that done. Some of the stuff is podcast stuff, and some of the stuff is sponsor stuff, and some of it's conference stuff. So we'll see how all that goes. But yeah, and then I've had a couple episodes go out late, and so I'm looking at replacing a person.
Bubba always fucking it up.
Well, Bubba has a part. She works semi full time, and anyway, she just keeps releasing stuff late, and I've warned her. So
yeah,
I'm just gonna be like, look, these have to go out on time. And then the other thing I think I'm gonna do is I think I'm gonna see if I can find people in the community. This is something I could use some feedback on. So I'm looking at finding people in the community who can help me put together like worksheets or cheat sheets or kind of just one pagers that give people information based on what's in the podcast episode.
Oh, okay.
And use those as lead magnets. So at the end of each show, it would be, hey, if you're interested in more information about this, or if you want a concise, rundown of what we talked about here and maybe some extra content, go to this episode and enter your email address and you'll get the worksheet. And see if we can start getting people to come to the website. This is an idea I got from my other mastermind group I talked to on Mondays. But I'm trying to decide if I'm going to have to pay these folks to do it because I love the bell.
Yeah.
I love it actually, but
I'm gonna mute so that you hear the bells.
It brings back memories. Anyway, but yeah, I'm trying to decide if I'm gonna have to pay somebody or if I can get somebody in the community to pull it together and then see if there's some way to like do attribution or something. So it has all the dev chat branding on it, but somewhere at the bottom it says, this worksheet was prepared by these folks and here's their website or something. I don't know.
That seems like a lot of work.
Yeah, but the thing is if I have a process for it,
right,
and I have somebody I can reliably hand it off to. I mean, then it's just finding somebody that can do it.
Mm-hmm. Well, okay, so just a couple of random thoughts on this. For one thing, setting up and maintaining the delivery for all this will be a royal pain.
Yeah, I guess that's true, but
you're going to need some sort of mechanism for delivering. Now, Thrive can do it. There's a way to do it in Thrive, but it still is going to be probably 5 to 15 minutes of setup per podcast just on that.
Yeah.
And right now you're having a hard time getting the show notes put together. So this is like another thing to coordinate. And I mean, what I would start with would be to go back and like, if there's 10, like look at your top 10 episodes for either, month to month downloads, or like if there's 10 episodes that get really great organic traffic, then that would be worth it. And you could even consider going back in and editing the feed, like the MP3 on the feed, and talking about it at the end, or talking about it at the beginning, or something like that. That would actually could be potentially high value, and it would be an interesting way to test out the idea. But if you're only getting like, if you go into your Google Analytics and you see that on an average, a podcast episode page gets like 200 hits or 300 hits, a month, or possibly even ever, then that's a ton of work for virtually no benefit.
That's true.
So, and what I would try first actually is a more generic lead magnet before you do the targeted one. So just to see if you get any kind of opt-in, if it's working. So have some kind of thing that is going to kind of broadly appeal to that audience. Test out with one podcast, probably your most popular one, and be like, and give away something, the best of the show, the best tips from experts in JavaScript, Java, or whatever it is, and put together that thing. And then just plug that into every episode, like for a while, and see if you're getting takers on it. And if you're getting a good uptick on it, if your conversion rate on that, if you're getting like nothing, then don't even bother and do it. I mean, it'll be better when they're specific targeted, but that would be the first place to start, and then see if you actually get any traction, because then you don't waste the time, building this whole process. Because what happens if you build this whole process and then you do this thing and you do all this work, and then and you turn it on, and then it's like, oh, hey, good, we're getting one email address per week.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
That makes sense.
Do you have like a generic call to action about get show notes?
Yes. Well, not on the show.
Okay, that would be interesting to try. Also, that would be that's even one step more lean than what John's suggesting.
Just tell them what, to get show notes for this episode, go to javascriptjabber.com.
Yeah. Yep.
That's an idea. I'd also like to just pull together. I'm going to add to my process on production at the end, just to email the guest and say, hey, your episode's out, here it is, and here's a link to tweet it or whatever.
Yeah, that's
I think
for sure,
because then I can leverage their social media presence and their reach.
The other thing that might be interesting to try would be putting in the first line of your show notes when they go up on the feed, having some kind of subscribe call to action, like email.
Click here
because
to get show notes via email.
Because with YouTube, that first, like, that's where we get virtually all of our traffic, is from that first line of the description. So you could probably hack something like that together, so you'd get, if you're getting thousands of people checking out the podcast in iTunes and whatever, then
I like that. I like
turning that into like it's free. I mean, you're getting free traffic, so you might as well try to skim off a little bit of it.
Yep. No, I really like that. So I'll have to look at that as well.
One other thing I thought I would be worth mentioning. I did one of those virtual summits last week, and the guy he has a podcast for podcasters. And we were talking about giveaways, and he was talking. I think this is a John Lee Dumas trick, but he set up a giveaway to get reviews on iTunes, where he was, you had to like enter, and then you had to send a screenshot of the review that you left. So you'd subscribe to the podcast, and then you would enter it, take a screenshot, email it to a certain address, and then that would be what entered you into the giveaway. I don't know. You might not be struggling for reviews at this point, but
depends on the show.
Yeah. I thought that looked pretty slick. I don't think there's a way to automate it, but if you use this certain email inbox or something, you could pretty easily automate that. Set up a Zapier task or something to pull people into a spreadsheet.
Yeah. Well, and then it just emails them back and says, by the way, I'm adding you to my list.
Yeah, there you go. Congratulations, you received a free subscription to devchat.tv.
Well, essentially what it would be is it would say, basically, you left a review for Ruby Rogues, so I'm subscribing you to get the show notes for Ruby Rogues.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's, way outside the realm of reasonability. So.
No, I mean, someone will think it's out of it, and they'll send you.
Yeah, someone certainly will.
Oh, well, there are always people like that. It was funny. I was listening to a podcast episode of Code Newbie, and this woman, she wrote a bunch of blog posts like every week, breaking down some computer science topic, and she was getting hate mail from some people for it. I was like, who cares? I mean, if it's not at your level, then just ignore it. But
right,
yeah, she was getting
there
hate
will
mail.
Always be haters.
She was getting hate mail for just for writing blog posts.
Yeah, people were getting on her case either because she knew what she was talking about. She didn't know what she was talking about. She's making this. She's confusing people. She's giving them the wrong information.
Yeah, but they were well put together, and a lot of them really were just. This is way basic. Why are you even writing about it? Or and it's just like, well, obviously it wasn't meant for you, so.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, it happens. That's the whole. Yeah. It's frustrating too. Actually, I get a lot of that because people are like, people always ask me about writing a blog, and they're like, "Well, I'm just starting out. I'm just a student, or I just got an email from this 15-year-old Brazilian kid, like perfect English, also." Mm-hmm. And he was like, yeah, whatever, put stuff out there that's no good or that it's not right or it's I shouldn't be teaching other people, right?
Yeah.
And it's because of these idiots that like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so I always tell them, no, just put like, as long as you come at it, like, I mean, there's sometimes, I mean, as long as you come at it from the perspective of like, I'm starting out and this is what I think about this, and this is what I discovered, and I could be wrong. I welcome your feedback. That's totally fine. I mean, you don't have to know all the answers to be able to put it out, but unfortunately, these jerks come along and make it. Yeah.
Well, and sometimes they just don't have anything better to do, and so they write dumb crap. Well, your video was not up to the level that I wanted it. Okay, whatever.
Your free video.
Yeah.
These are the really successful people in life, right? Because that successful people. I mean, I don't even have enough fucking time to answer my emails. So I can't imagine having the time to go and sit on people's YouTube channel and put nasty comments or on their blogs, right? Like,
yeah.
I write essays on their blog.
One other thing that I wanted to kind of dig into with you, John, is. You have, is it Rodrigo that's answering your emails? Or is it
he's doing a lot of it, Rodrigo, yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out the right balance for that because, Mandy had access to my email at one point, and I've given access to some of the other people that have worked for me before, and then I can't email anybody about them, right? Without saying anything.
Yeah.
And then the other issue is that my business email and my personal email kind of blend because I have everything going to the same place. I should probably just split that up. But
I would definitely. I think you have to make this work. You need like a personal address and you need a business address. And really, the only person that you probably like, you'd want to have somebody in like a personal assistant role versus. And probably this is somebody that you'd want to work with for a while first so that you get through the initial, like, okay, I need to fire this person stage. And once they've proven themselves, then that would be something. Like, we didn't give Rodrigo access to John's email for a while, I don't think.
Right.
Yeah. It's I mean, it's a tough one. Like
The other thing
I've got a bunch of thoughts.
Is setting up like a help at devchat.tv and then just forwarding it over and saying, you know what, because I don't have a problem doing that either.
Yeah.
Saying, hey,
one of my big tasks.
Go ahead, John.
I'm going to revamp email. Like for me, like I've got to tackle it as one of my big tasks. One of the things I want to do is get like a personal assistant that just handles both my personal and work email and just knows what's going on, right? Just knows what's going on to be able to respond intelligently or just sum things up. But aside from that, there's also other optimals that need to be done, right? Like I regret now having John at simpleprogrammer.com being like kind of the business email address. That should be like my personal business address, right? if that makes sense, right? So there should be like a help at Simple Program. Like it should be more bucketed, right, and divided. Right. And maybe that goes to a central inbox or something like that. But that would allow again things like sometimes some of the stuff I send, I'm like, well, I just sent Josh something saying about Rodrigo. And Rodrigo's checking this email. So I mean, obviously I haven't said anything negative, but
you sent me something about Rodrigo.
I've done it before, like
yeah.
And it's like, so I have to say, okay, well I have to send that from my personal email, but that's business stuff. So
right.
I'd also like to just go through an audit. Like I haven't had the time because it's a whole playing catch up. But at one point I'd like to just like go through all my email, in a day, very slowly, like take the whole day going through email, and for every email asking the question, why did I get this email, and did I need to get this email?
Right.
And even for like business type of contact stuff, not just newsletters, and talking about like, would there have been a way to have not gotten this email, right, or to have automatically handle it? And I'm strongly thinking about just setting an autoresponder. I know a lot of people, like Tim Ferriss, if you email him or his assistant now, you automatically get an email right back, and it's got a kind of a long description, and it says, in this case, it sort of puts you through a switchboard, right? And it's like, all right, in this case, you can reply back. In this case, you go to this form if you want to this. I'm not even talking to you about it at all, right? And it gives you like all of these options, and that might be the better. That might be a really good strategy. Or one other thing I've considered. Damn it! Seriously, how many
more bells?
Every 15 minutes now.
Yeah, that's how it works, John. That's how.
Yeah.
When there's bells, they're every 15 minutes.
So that was weird. Oh,
there we go.
No, okay.
There we go.
Yeah. Small sleep of the job there. It's some weird, the combination of the bells is, I haven't figured it out yet, but maybe because it must be because it's Friday. I don't know. The other option is what's his name? The guy that wrote that really famous computer science book, the algorithms guy. He hasn't even finished his whole not Herb Sutter. I'm talking about the algorithms guy, real famous for algorithms. Science algorithms. I can't think of his. The Art of Computer Science. Knuth.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He doesn't have email. He doesn't. Not only does he not have email, but I was reading that he checks his. I think that he. Oh yeah, he only checks every 3 months.
Oh my gosh.
So if you want to get in touch with him, it's a 3-month delay. And not only that, but he wrote LaTeX, right? So what he does is he doesn't fix bugs in LaTeX for 3 years. 3 years, all the bugs come in, and then in like a week period of time, he fixes all the bugs from the 3 years and then releases a new version. So it's all about like managing the batch, right? So, the idea was that it's like it's totally reduced, so he doesn't have to spend any time in email or answering letters or correspondence or anything, right? Only every 3 months, and he doesn't spend all this time working on the bugs. He can just focus on his research and the important things. And so I think that's a little extreme, but there might be a batch size that works. That's, for email. So I don't know, email is a very difficult problem. Like, I don't think anyone's really solved it well.
Nice. Yeah,
Dan Kennedy does fax only.
See, that's a lot of Bill Murray does fax only as well. Like, that might be, I don't know. I mean, you got to, that's not good for, it depends on where you're at, right? I mean, I think that there's some medium in between there. I don't know where it's at though. Like, it might be the autoresponder, or it might be just hiding your email address so much, or having an assistant that just, or that just looks at emails and only responds to ones that are important, or maybe having like a second pass system where if someone emails you, you send them back an email that says, I'm not responding to this unless you email me again. I don't know. Or you just delete it until they email you again. I don't know. So.
Well, this explains why none of my emails that I'm sending to John get answered. So.
But I do answer all of the Nigerian guy.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
By the way, I got a voicemail from the IRS.
Oh.
Saying computer voice, and apparently I'll have to. I have illegal tax fraud that I've committed, and not responding to this to the voicemail message, not returning the call would be like I forget, a criminal offense, a federal criminal offense of tax evasion, and it'd be like evading or avoiding the superior magistrate, general magistrate. I can't remember the exact wording, or a subpoena. So kindly return the call. And that's where they got wrong. I was going to call back.
Kindly.
Yeah, I was like, what is going on? I was thinking, because obviously this message came from India, because you said kindly. Yeah. They didn't answer the phone. I actually called them back and they didn't answer the phone, but I was gonna be like, look, dude, I know you're in India, because no one would ever say kindly. Like, no one would ever say kindly do this. So
especially not the IRS.
Exactly. I was like, you had it like real good, except for the word kindly. That was the dead giveaway that you were somewhere in India, sending this. Sure enough, I looked it up, and these guys are from India. So
nice.
I got a message similar to that this week, and just to give a little bit of context, up until a year or so ago, I think it was last year, I paid like 3 years worth of taxes.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, so I, because I hadn't paid taxes for several years, because I gotten a little bit confused by it, and I hadn't saved up money for it, and so I had the money to pay it, so I paid it. And I never did quite verify if everything had gotten paid, so I got an email or a voicemail similar, and it said, "You're being sued by the IRS for non-payment." And they are issuing a warrant for your arrest, and if so call this number back. And I'm like, I'm going to call the number back on the IRS website and just make sure that everything got paid when I thought it did.
Yeah.
So I call them up, and they're like, well, you underpaid by 47 cents back in 2014. And I'm like,
we're going to let that one slide.
And so I'm like, okay, well, how do I pay that? And they're like, oh, if it's under $1, they just clear the account. I'm like, okay, I just want to verify, so I don't have to worry about it, and I'm not going to get a letter in the mail from the IRS that says you owe us $30.47 because fees. And she's like, you won't. And then she goes back and looks, and she says, actually, you overpaid by about $1 in 2011. So we're just gonna, I'm just gonna move the money over and wipe it out.
We'll keep the change too, because we're the IRS.
They owe me cents. They need to mail me 2 quarters.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But I spent like 2 hours on hold, waiting to talk to somebody. I was a little bit frustrated, but at least now I know that everything's clear.
Yeah.
That was yesterday, that call.
the default should always just be for anything. Fuck you, I'm not giving you any money. That's like if you start with that default, then like everything is okay, and then they have to prove, like it's like the innocent until proven guilty. I don't owe you shit. That's until proven I owe you shit.
Yeah, but my deal is I figured there was about a 10 to 20% chance that it was actually legitimate, and so I just went on IRS.gov and
I don't think the IRS will sue you or leave you a voicemail saying that they're going to sue you.
Well, they say when you call them up, you know, they in their recording, you know, there are a lot of scams going around, and we won't call you without sending you a letter first. And I don't always get my mail, so like my wife will get it and she'll sort out the junk mail and set it aside, and then once it's in her way for long enough, she'll move it somewhere where it's out of the way, and I still never see it. So I was like, it's entirely possible I didn't see the letter.
Nice. There needs to be a step in that workflow that says IRS, give to Chuck.
Yeah. I mean, bills, anything. Like we've missed bills because I never saw them. Just like, yeah, I keep telling her, I'm like, look, you know, if you don't want to sort through it, just leave it on my desk and I'll take care of it. Anyway.
You'd use the like I use a service for my mail. I'll get sent to North Carolina and they open it and scan it, and then I just get emailed.
I have that service for the business, and I don't think they care if I use it for personal as well. And so I'm tempted to actually have my bills like for like the power bill and the mortgage and everything just sent there. And then I'll just
I'm paperless for all that stuff now, and it's all auto paid.
I hesitate a little bit with auto pay. I don't like giving people access to my account. I know I can set up auto pay scheduling with bill pay, and so I have thought about that.
Yeah, that's how I do most of it. Unless they actually give me a discount or something, I don't have them pull money. Usually, I just do the bill pay. Auto bill pay, and that's good because then you have control over it too. So
yeah,
but the bill pay, if the amounts vary at all, that's not going to work.
That's true, but if you get the thing in the mail and then you just have a process to pay all the bills at a certain time.
Yeah, you could do that. I mean, for utilities that vary, but a lot of the stuff like your mortgage doesn't vary, so you can do bill pay. And, I mean, I thought about too. Also, I was like, at one point, I was like, well, what if I just like for the utility bill, I figure out what the average is, and then I just auto pay that, and then sometimes there'll be a surplus, and sometimes there'll be a shortfall, but it'll all even out because they'll send you 30-day notice, and then you'll get the next payment will come through, and it'll be enough to.
John's skirting the edge of getting his lights shut off.
Yeah. It's happened before, and then I just call them up and pay it, and then they come turn it on a couple hours later.
Chuck, I have a question for you. How on earth are you tracking your sponsorship outreach?
I'm using CRM.
What are you using lately?
So I'll give a little bit of background. So I was using Asana before, and then I would just change the due dates on the tasks.
Right.
That turned out to be a complete and royal pain.
Yep.
So now what I do is I have it all. I'm trying to remember. I think it's Zoho CRM.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And so now I reach out to them, and then I set a follow-up task after I've reached out.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm really struggling with this. I'm starting to dig back into that, and it is so like there's so many. I was trying to come up with like a spreadsheet even or something to track it, and it's like there's so many things that what I want to track. What I'd like to track is, like email open rates and reply rates, which I can do with blue tick. It's just it's such a pain that your email is separate from your CRM. Like
Yeah.
pretty much. And there's a couple that attempted to integrate it, and it was like a complete train wreck. But yeah, like what I want to be able to say is like, okay, I sent out 100 emails from this with this particular subject line and this particular body. How many people opened that? How many people replied? And then, so that's like one thing I want to track. And then the other thing I want to track is like, when do I need to follow up with specific people? Like,
yeah, I haven't found a good system that does that. And to be perfectly honest, I mean, the tracking would be nice. And some of them, like, I think Streak tracks opens, but it doesn't track it across like a template or anything. And I used Nimble CRM for a little while, and it had way too much going on for what I needed. But it also tracked opens, but it didn't track it by template.
Yeah, but the problem with most of the CRM tools is they only track emails that go out through the system. So like, I don't want to have, like with Salesforce, I don't want to have to sit there with Salesforce open and send emails through Salesforce, especially when people have already replied to me and there's a reply sitting in my Gmail box. I'm not sending them like another email and starting another thread with that person. That's just kind of
well, the other issue I had with the Nimble tracking was, so they would insert a pixel when I send it through Gmail.
Yeah.
And then I'd go back and start reading the expand it, and it loads the pixel, and then I'd get a pop-up on my computer saying, this person's reading the email. And I'm like, no, they're not. That doesn't help. But, I needed to go back and read the rest of it for context, and so I get false positives.
Yeah,
that's funny. That's like when I send myself an email, and that so I don't forget something, and then I'm like, oh, I got an email. Oh,
yeah.
You've got mail.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm currently using Trello, and it's a pain. I'm trying to use Trello in a spreadsheet, and I really can't get it to work.
Yeah, I also I'm starting to be a little bit disappointed with BlueTick. I mean, I like the automation part of it, but yeah, it doesn't do enough of this kind of thing where, I really want the tracking. I want it too, because then it's like, this is working, this isn't working. And
what are you saying, John?
Tweak my process. Go ahead, John. Sorry.
I mean, this should really be, because it shouldn't be a process of reinventing the wheel here. I mean, there's some things, but this is essentially sales. This is
but everybody, John, everybody uses Salesforce, and this is not. See, I've looked at Salesforce, and it is.
It's an ugly freaking mess.
It is really, really difficult. So what you do is when you have a big sales team, you hire a Salesforce implementation specialist to come in and customize Salesforce for you, and then everyone still hates it, but at least it sort of works, but everyone still hates it. There's just really not a good. I've looked at probably 24 different tools. Oh, and then the other thing that really made me mad was freaking LinkedIn. I hate LinkedIn. I had found this really great tool called Hunter, and they let you you can go to somebody's profile on LinkedIn, and then they'll like dig around and look at other web pages on the company's website and stuff, and pull in their business address. And it was super slick. So I could find a personal like a direct business email address for anyone on LinkedIn. Well, so I go to do it today, and they're like, we're no longer, the pop-up says, we're no longer showing email addresses on LinkedIn. Click here for more information. And I was like, on August 31st, which was yesterday, we discontinued LinkedIn support. And I was like, oh, LinkedIn is so aggressive about they don't want anyone doing anything with the data. Like, they are super aggressive, and they're Twitter's gotten a lot more aggressive too, but LinkedIn is 10 times more.
Well, because it has the email address. That's the thing, is because I get LinkedIn spam to my personal email address, where people have taken my email address off of LinkedIn, and that they put me right onto their list. Right?
Well, no, they had to harvest it. All they have to do is
Well,
connect
yeah,
with
they
you.
harvest. I know. Oh, well, yeah, but then they put me on their email list, like
Mhm.
their Mailchimp account. Like I'm like I didn't sign up
Yeah,
for
oh
this.
yeah, that happens to me
Yeah.
too.
And it's a pain in the ass. Like, I mean, so it's a little bit different. Like, I understand LinkedIn kind of because it's, I mean, if you get enough of that, you're gonna be like, fuck that. I'm deleting my LinkedIn profile. I'm never going on LinkedIn again. And a lot of people
Well,
have done that because they're tired of getting
the-
spam from LinkedIn.
these are not the addresses that I was getting were not their LinkedIn addresses. It was just taking
I
like
see.
taking
Yeah.
the name. It was taking the person's name and rummaging around. It was basically just connecting LinkedIn with the rest of the internet and saying, hey, can I find an email address out there somewhere? It was not, because most people use a crappy personal
Yeah,
like
they do.
Gmail or Hotmail address on LinkedIn. And I have not had good success reaching out to those email addresses. It seems like people don't check them, probably for the reason that you're talking about, John. But yeah, it was just looking at their profile and going, okay, like, where does this person work? And then
Right.
pulling in. So it wasn't even really, it wasn't harvesting contact information from LinkedIn. It was just kind of using LinkedIn as a directory for the rest of the web.
Yeah.
Very frustrating. And yeah, and LinkedIn also LinkedIn killed they basically killed. So a bunch of CRM tools had created API integrations with LinkedIn, and then LinkedIn decided, oh, we want to launch our own sucky CRM. So they just killed their API about 2 or 3 years ago. So you can't, there's no tools out there now that integrate with LinkedIn. It's like the number one tool for business prospecting, pretty much, other than like these big private databases. And there's no way to connect it to any tool at all. It's very frustrating.
Yeah. Well, and I've also used some browser plugins that, allow you to do a bunch of stuff within LinkedIn, as far as like checking people out and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And when they find them, man, they go out of their way to mess them up.
They must have like a whole team doing whack-a-mole on that.
Yeah.
Like just like looking for all the tools out there and breaking them.
They just lost a court case. I can't remember. I saw something where they kept on suing people for screen scraping.
Mm-hmm.
And a judge just ruled that no, you can't do that. Like it's because you know what they're doing? They're suing people for unauthorized computer access, right? That whole hacking.
Oh,
The standard.
okay.
And that's not. It's what the ruling was that if it's publicly accessible, right, then it's fair game. There's no. It's the equivalent of having a store with the door open. Like if someone walks in the store and looks at your stuff, like that's you have the door open, right? Same thing there, but they said that if you're scraping something that wasn't publicly accessible, then yes, that's unauthorized computer, that's intrusion. But so I think we'll see that. I think I can't remember exactly the thing. They had to only allow people to do it, but stop obfuscating it to make it impossible to do or difficult to do and break.
Well, that would be nice.
So yeah, so that's kind of I'm not sure, that felt a little too left leaning, that part of it. Like, I mean, you know what I mean? Like it's as much as I'd like to be in full support of that. Like if you say, okay, you can't like sue people for screen scraping, totally fine. But I don't know if you can really say you can't make it hard for them to do it. That to me, it seems like they should have that right. I mean, that's if you put a maze in front of your store, your choice.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't really have. I mean, I kind of have a rough idea. I have a pretty good idea of the process I want to use. It's just I have not really been able to find a set of tools that make it something that ideally I want it to be something that I can spend, carve out a couple of hours a week and just hit it and then be done with it. But I don't know, like it seems like there's just too many moving parts.
Yep.
I think I'm just going to have to hack it manually for a while and see what kind of fumble through it and see if there's pieces of it that get a better idea of what my actual requirements are. All right, well, that was pointless and not helpful.
So what's been going on in Simple Programmer?
Yeah.
What's been going on with Simple Programmer?
So we've been, this week has been a bunch of like little things and little experiments. So we did, so we got contacted by this company. I won't use company names here, but so they're like a recruiting job search type of company. And they wanted us to put up they were saying, hey, we'll do you can set up a job search on your site, and we'll pay you every time someone clicks on a job ad. I was like, oh, okay, that sounds pretty cool. So we got that set up, and so we've been running it for about 3 or 4 days now, and we're averaging about $1.25 a day. So and to get that, I'm having to put ads on the site and like funnel traffic to this new tool that we put up. So John was like, yeah, kill that with extreme prejudice. So we'll test it a little bit more. It was a pretty slick idea because when they click on so it's jobs.simpleprogrammer. So it's simpleprogrammer.com/jobs, and the search tool looks pretty slick. And then you can put in a keyword and a radius, and it'll give you some listings. And then when you click on any of the listings, it pops up an opt-in form, and you can sign up to get alerted on that search every day, or whenever there's a new job posted or whatever. And then we get paid every time someone clicks one of those links within one of those emails for as long as they're subscribed. So if they're job hunting and they're clicking stuff every day, we get paid every day. So that's pretty cool. But the conversion, like the number of people that actually sign up for the alerts, is pitiful. It's we've gotten like 30 some clicks, and we've only gotten like 1 sign up on the alert. So it's pretty much like if you had like a massive website that was getting 100,000 job search related page views, a week, it might be something you could make some money with.
But you would then just put up your own job board and just
exactly
bounty or charge people to advertise their jobs on your site.
Yeah. So John, we'll at least get an idea of the traffic volume though. That we might get on the board. So it'll give us some interesting data. But so that one's probably a fail. We also got Bluehost reached out to us about upping apparently like we've hit their radar as being one of the bigger sites that could potentially send them more affiliate traffic. So they reached out to us, and then they bumped up. So I met with them this week, and they created this branded landing page for our traffic, which has a photo of John and the Simple Programmer logo. So it's like customized for our audience. And then
and a bunch of GoDaddy girls with register your domain as well. And then there's like Adobe Flash, and like you're sitting on the page, and then I wink at you, and then my teeth flash. It goes like there's like a sparkle on my tooth. So
nice. No, that's not Flash anymore, John. That's all implemented in CSS. So
that's right.
I know, but this is done in Flash because we need the good stuff.
But yeah, so I put up another ad, like I put up an ad on the blog to promote one of the blog posts that talks a lot about Bluehost, and then so we're driving more traffic to one of our blog posts, and then we put up this co-branded landing page. So I'm pretty optimistic that we're gonna, we should see and then they increased our bounty, our affiliate commission per sign up. So that should move the needle a little bit for us. I'm looking forward to that. So they're gonna, I think Bluehost. So I sent John numbers today. I was like, all right, well this recruiting, this job page currently we're earning between 1 and 2 cents per page view. And then contrast that with Bluehost, we're earning $11.93 a click. So maybe we should probably devote that space to promoting Bluehost.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Yep. So that's fun. Our sales, man, I don't know what happened. I think it's just August. We started off the month really, really great, and I was thinking we were going to have possibly a record month, and then the last half of the month it just went in the crapper.
Well, the book is what made the first part of the month.
Well, I'll have to go back and pull. I think there was some of that, but I think a lot of it just seemed like a lot of it was just all of our channels were firing on all cylinders, and then it just kind of all just dried up at once. So hopefully it'll kick back up here now that we're hitting September. Usually from what I've seen, it was I think last year going into the September, it was a little bit dry until the second week or so. So, and then I've spent the rest of the week setting up. We're finally getting a membership site, like a login, our own content delivery website set up. So I spent the better part of the week working on that, and looks like we're going to.
What did you settle on to use?
So MemberPress. I looked at MemberPress. I actually installed it and played around with it, and so what I realized is that pretty much there's tiers of these programs. So I was wanting this all-in-one solution that was going to give me, the login capabilities, user access management, and then make it easy to create digital courses and digital downloads and all that stuff. And it actually seems like what you have to do is you buy one plugin to manage the access, and then you buy another plugin to manage the file downloads, and then you buy another plugin to allow you to create digital courses.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got, we're using Digital Access Pro, which is kind of more of an internet marketing. It's one of the older ones, and it's popular with the internet marketing crowd. And it actually has a pretty good shopping cart. Like you could technically use it as your shopping cart, but you can do like upsells and everything right in there. But it was like devilishly difficult to set all that up. So I'm just going to use I'm going to use ThriveCart as our shopping cart. ThriveCart integrates directly with Digital Access Pro. So when you buy the product through ThriveCart, you just get a new account created in Digital Access Pro, and then it gives you access to the right product. And then when you log into your Digital Access Pro account, you see a page, and it lists the courses that you own, and then below that, it's going to list other courses that you don't own, we wanted that. Like we wanted to be able to show them, here's what you have, here's what you don't have, to make the other products more visible. So I'm pretty happy with that. There's really there's no way to do any kind of digital courses. I would have to create WordPress pages, which honestly wouldn't be that bad, but I need to create individual WordPress pages, stick the video on that page, and then have like next and previous links and stuff. So it would be a pain, but I'm looking at probably like WP Courseware, I think. And that basically creates custom post types in WordPress, and then you can just assign those custom post type entries to whatever product it is, and they'll basically get presented as your course. So the goal, we really want this to be something where we can set up set everything up for a new product in like an hour or two, and not have it so with MemberPress, I was starting to work through it, and there's no direct support for MemberPress in ThriveCart. So I was trying to set it up through Zapier, which sounds great until you realize there's like all these edge cases. Like what if they buy this product and the in-cart bump, or they buy this product and the in-cart bump and an upsell? Like you have to create all these zaps. And I was like, I am not creating like 20 zaps for every product, that
Yeah.
will turn into a mess really fast.
Yeah. Too fragile, breaks, it all breaks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fire drill. It'd be bad.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah, that's the last thing you want to have to stress test when you're doing a product launch.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it seems like it's working pretty well. I'm currently stuck on. I have a support ticket in with the plugin we're using to get files from S3. Apparently, uses an older version of authentication with S3 that only works in one region. So we have buckets that are created in another region, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I can't access these, and there's no way to change the buckets, so I'd have to delete the buckets and recreate them, and I'm not doing that.
A new version of the S3 Media Maestro just came out. I think that might have.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably look at. I might look at that. I'm gonna look at that, and I'm gonna look at the one that Derek uses, the Restrict Content Pro, and see. But yeah, like I liked this. This one was free with Digital Access Pass, because it's but created by the same company. But
yeah,
this is that's utterly ridiculous. I found a stack. I sent in my help request. I sent a Stack Overflow thread from like 2014 where somebody was talking about solving this in Ruby, and I'm like, this is the same error that I'm getting.
Right?
Is it, is there a workaround here? And I haven't heard back yet. So, but yep. So that should be all. That'll be all. I mean, we'll have. So first step for me is getting I have to get the digital toolkit for the career guide moved from publicly available page on the internet to this behind the firewall type of, or behind a login type of setup, and then I have to migrate all of our other products and stuff. But that should be, once I figure it out, that should be pretty easy. The Thrive integration with Digital Access Pro is really good. I like it. It's basically like you connect it. Not Thrive, ThriveCart. You basically just connect it to your site one time, and then you say, how do you want to deliver this content, membership site, and then you enter the product number and you're done. It's pretty slick. So next week, hopefully I'll have that. I would have had it done if hadn't hit all these technical snags, but.
Now, I did a search for Digital Access Pro, and all I can find is Digital Access Pass. Is that not the same?
Digital
thing?
Access Pass. That's if I said the other, I meant Pass. Yeah.
Okay.
I got to get running here. I actually got a new coaching guy that I'm doing coaching for today.
Okay. Cool.
Oh, I thought when you said you had to get running, you were doing another half marathon.
No. That was pretty crazy though. It was hot at 10 o'clock.
Awesome.
Should we do our thoughts and then wrap it up?
Sure.
I'll go first this time. I got one. So I got, my thought is mo money, mo problems. I got slammed like in the last 2 days with a $250 red light from Switzerland, which I normally wouldn't pay, but I was borrowing the family's car from the exchange, and so I don't want them to have to go through the hassle, but just pay it or whatever. But and then was like two like basically fraudulent hospital bills from like UCSD medical. I never go to a hospital ever. Like just go to a regular doctor, not a hospital. They billed like for regular routine, like some blood work that would have normally cost me like maybe $200, $150 from a regular lab. They billed like $3,000. They billed like $5,000 to insurance, and then mine was like $3,000 or something like that. And then we got another bill from my wife with a very similar thing from UCSD as well. And so total like fraud. I mean, pisses me off more than anything, I think, is because of how fraudulent this is. Like, I mean, what they build for, just taking advantage of people. And so obviously I'm fighting it. But and then like in one of my rental properties, there was some rain or some like plumbing thing, and it was like $4,000 worth of repairs. And then the one next door, the very next day, $6,000 worth of repairs with mold remediation. Is so basically like looking at like $15,000 of unexpected bills in like 2 days, basically. And so yeah, so more money, more problem. Basically, like, you know, I was just thinking about the idea that like one of the things that goes along with anything, like any kind of success or money that you make, or you know, you're always gonna have more problems, right? Like, and that's where it's like, that's why, you know, I've said on this show many times that it's all gravy, because you gotta kind of have that attitude, because you know, just like that could really like ruin your week. But I'm not letting it, because it doesn't matter, because it's like, okay, so even if I mean, it's not going to cost me the 15, I'm going to fight some of the stuff, but even if it did, you know, okay, sucks, but you know, it's like I'm better off than I was, a lot better off than I was like 4 years ago or 5 years. Like I would have been dreaming to have, you know, to be in the situation that I'm at. So what you got to remember is, it's like, you know, I was just thinking about like how as you achieve more success, you make more money, and you get in shape, because you can get out of shape more, right? You can lose your losses. You've got more stuff to defend. I was thinking about this analogy of like if you had like one Lego brick and you're trying to like, you know, you had a bunch of kindergartners that wanted to steal a Lego brick, you could just like hold it in your hand, and like they're not going to get that one Lego brick, right? But if you had like 100 Lego bricks, like, or 1,000 Lego bricks, like you'd have to like try and like, no, you can't have any of my Legos, right?
You've got
and
the
like,
full
you know,
Millennium Falcon with all the radar dishes and, you know, all the.
They're like little hands are reaching in and grabbing, and
This
you know,
is
like
John's basically describing every evening at my house right now. So
Lego my Legos.
You can't stop. So
Yeah.
like, so you got to kind of decide in life. You kind of got to say like, okay, I'm just gonna have one Lego brick because I like, you know what I mean, and it's good. I could just, you know, but then that's it. You know, you just have a mediocre life. It's fine. You know, but you know, you're gonna have a lot less of stress. Or you say, well, if you're going to try and accumulate 1,000 Lego bricks or 1,000,000 Lego bricks or whatever, the more the Lego bricks you accumulate, the harder it will be to defend those, and you're just going to lose some of them. And more people are going to try and take some of them, and you're going to get ripped off more. So you're going to have that level of mindset and just understand more money, more problems, right? Yep. And that's, you know, and it's not just money. It has to do with, I mean, same thing. Like you get in shape and you know, build muscle and, you know, lose fat or whatever, you got more to lose, right? Like because you can get out of shape, you know. If you're just average, you don't care, right? It doesn't matter, right? You know, so there's always bad thing, or you get injured, right? It's a bigger loss. So anything that you gain, right? It's almost like that you just have to realize that there's, the higher you climb, the higher you fall. You know, it's just part of the thing. And so you know, you got to not be afraid of height. And so I just kind of tried to be living my life that way, because I mean, it only gets worse. It only gets worse and worse. I mean, the more stuff you have, the more that you're going to get. And so the more surface area for attack, I guess, you know, as if I can throw in, I think that's my sixth analogy in this statement, but, but yeah, that's really what it comes down to. You just got to have the stoic mindset and just realize that this is the truth and this is how it works. And you're still better off. I mean, to me, in my mind, I say, well, you know what? I'd rather have all these problems and have a higher level of success than to not have any of these problems and have a less level of success. I still net better off. But the thing that makes it, determines whether you're better off or not, is the mindset that you apply to it. So if you're willing to say, you know what, easy come, easy go. Well, hard come, easy go, right? I'm just borrowing this stuff and I have to give it back later. Then that's the mindset that you've got to have for it. Otherwise, you know, and it's kind of funny because you hear about, I mean, the people that like jump out of windows, right, and kill themselves, or jump off of bridges, right? They're usually the more successful, or kill themselves. More people kill themselves, or, you know, whatever. You hear about you know, someone who had a bunch of money and they made a bad stock trade, or the market crashed and they could have jumped out of the window, right, and see if they could fly like a pigeon. And but that happens more so than people living in poverty, right? So
Right.
it just not that people in poverty don't ever off themselves, but I'm just saying, like, you got to realize that, like, it's stupid, right? Like, if you're going to go for success and making money and accomplishing things in life, then you've got to have this hold on to everything loosely mindset. Otherwise, it's stupid. Otherwise, you should really just be living a really simple life and just and not worrying about any of this stuff and not trying to achieve anything, because that'll be a better life than one where you're successful, but every single legal that you use hurts you. So there you go. That's my spiel. Who's next?
For me, I mean, I was talking about earlier just doing the I'm trying to pick up my notebook that I've been writing in. So anyway, just making a plan and following it. I mean, and not being afraid to get too deep into the weeds, and not feeling like you have to always be, all the way up or down the chain. I mean, I've just been brainstorming into this, and then I'll put it all into Asana and track it, and then just holding myself accountable. And those are kind of things that it feels kind of basic, but at the same time, it's kind of part of being a grown up, I guess.
Yeah.
Nice. I feel like we've talked about this recently, but I've been, like, this week several times, have just been thinking about the I think this might have come out, I might have heard this first in what was Ryan Holiday's book, John, that you like,
The Obstacle's the Way.
What's that?
The Obstacle's the Way.
The Obstacle is the Way. Yeah. But basically looking at the adversity as, this is a chance to practice X virtue. So like right now, see, I'm wearing this wrist brace. I'm super frustrated because I've had this freaking wrist injury for about 10 months now. And it's not real severe, but like anytime I try to do anything with my hands on the floor, like push-ups or anything, it hurts. It acts up. I injured, I actually injured my wrist zipping up my fly, not a joke, in like last October or November. And I'm just really frustrated because nothing seems to be working to heal it. I'm probably going to end up getting physical therapy in the next couple months if I can't get it straightened out. But I'm looking at that. I'm like, okay, this is a chance to practice patience. This is a chance to practice, reining myself in and dialing it back so that I'm not continually aggravating this injury. And that's a virtue that I can apply in a lot of other arenas as I develop it. So, it does make me want to put my fist through the wall at times, but if I use that mindset, it helps me get through it.
I'll apply that to my massive bills as well. Actually, I was. So last night I was thinking about, I was like, this is a good opportunity, John. This is an opportunity to see what you're made of. Like, is this gonna like wreck you, or you know what I mean? Like, or are you just gonna, you know what I mean? And so I decided to spit all over my monitor.
All right.
All right, guys.
See ya.
See you next week.
Yep.
All right.
Bye.
Wanna start a business, but you just know how to code. Listen to John, Josh, and Derek as we figure it out. We are the Entre Programmers, and we'll teach you straight up to be developers.